Hey guys, welcome back. This is your host Phil from underKG.com. Today we are going to examine Nokia 8, their new flagship. Well, not new, latest flagship. Firstly, it's got a fairly boxy and classic maybe design. It's got Nokia logo right there, and it's a 16:9 ratio display, unlike the taller 18:9 ratio bezel-less displays that many of the flagship phones these days are adopting. The grip is not the best, but it still is pretty nice, and the details are pretty well done. The antenna lines top and bottom are not exactly my favorite, but I can deal with that. The part that I have harder time coping with are the button clicks. When you click on the button, they feel really cheap. Look, just listen to the way it sounds. It doesn't feel anything like the buttons on a premium smartphone. And also, the phone only comes with the IP54 weather protection, making it merely a splash-proof phone. Now let's move on to mostly great display. It's got high resolution with punchy colors, but it's too pale. It's good that it's got 700 nits of maximum brightness, but its white balance level is inaccurate, and there is no option to manually adjust that, so that's a bit of disappointment. But software is something that I truly loved. You can simply see that it's almost the stock Google Android, and they barely modified anything from the stock system. So you see that it's updated to Android 8.0.0, in which they release the updates fairly often. I also like the performance with Snapdragon 835 and 4GB or 6GB of RAM built inside. This particularly unique being a 4GB one. Launching up the app, closing up the app, launching up, say, the camera, closing up that, and multitasking between the number of apps, say settings and between phone, just tap that twice quickly and the app switching is very fluid and snappy. I have to make it clear that I'm not a fan of some weird Android decisions like locating clear all button at the end of the very list, but overall I'm satisfied with the software. Now, since this is a Nokia phone, you should all be interested in that camera. So you can launch the camera by tapping on the power key twice quickly, and here is the main interface of the camera app. And before we begin, let me make it clear that I'm hugely disappointed on the camera. The biggest problem is the software. It's so bad that it's ugly and counterintuitive at the same time. Here's an example. When you want to switch between rear and front-facing camera, you will use the gesture in the Samsung Galaxies or the other devices, like swipe right there, but it doesn't work there. Or twist your phone like you would on a Google devices. No, the only way to do it on a Nokia phone is a button right there that opens up another menu. It says main, front, and dual. Yes, it's a good thing that it supports rear and front-facing camera at the same time. They actually call this bothie, but that requires you to tap on the screen twice to switch between the rear and the front-facing camera. And that's obviously not all the problems. Just look at the settings menu right here. Look how messy it is, with a lot of options that are simply not needed. And let me show you the most bizarre part of it is the compass and altitude. Yes, giving your users options to display compass and altitude on the camera viewfinder is nice, but look at the way they put it. Look at how it hides everything that you see on the screen. Look how ugly it looks with that weird divided bar right there that even overlaps on top of that ugly compass. And look at how camera mode looks like. Manual, live bokeh, photo, panorama, and beautify. And they're gone. Okay, manual. And look at the manual focus. They're all over it. They're randomly put with the weird, ugly choices. And manual mode doesn't even let you choose shutter speed. Well, is it because the auto mode is so good that you don't need to? No, it fails badly at setting up right shutter speed and ISO that suits your situation. I've taken a lot of photos with this guy, and low lighting indoor photos is the worst. They have terrible detail. Your photos are often shaken even with the help of OIS. And even the brighter photos have soft output and marginal details. The autofocus enabled front-facing camera is somewhat better than most of the competitors, but look at the bending effect going right there. Yes, I know it's the light on top, but I've never seen a bending in this situation with any other phone, even with the cheaper phones. Compared to that, audio department is okay. It's got speaker on the bottom. Unlike the Nokia 6 that they have claimed to have a stereo speaker, this is a mono speaker, and the speaker quality is okay. It's not bad, but in 2017 I did expect a stereo speaker on a flagship smartphone. Wired audio coming out of the earphone jack on top is okay. It's not my favorite position to have a jack, but we should be happy enough for its existence. Oh, one minor tip. It has Nokia's Osmo audio technology built in, so when you're recording a video, it has 3D spatial sound recording. It sounds better than most of the other competitors. Now, something the 8 was really good with was surprisingly the battery. It has little over 3000 milliamps of battery built in, and it gave me over 7 hours to 7.5 hours of screen on time, which is surprisingly good on this size of a phone. Fast charging with Quick Charge 3.0 is done by USB Type-C port on the bottom, and it takes around 2 hours to fully charge it, but it's able to charge up to 50% only in half an hour. And now that we told you enough about the phone, here comes the verdict. The Nokia 8 is a great phone. I like it. I like the way it looks. I like the way it performs. I like the way its battery lasts, but I'm not going to be able to recommend it to anyone. The biggest selling point for a Nokia flagship should have been the camera, and they were. They pushed the camera as the main flagship feature of the phone, but the results are terrible. I've never seen this much of disappointing camera on a flagship in 2017. Even HTC has better camera than this on the U Ultra. The solid points are still there. It does have a timely update, and it also comes with a clean stock software, but we have heard that from somewhere else. It's the Google Pixel 2. For the very same price that you can get the Nokia 8, you can get the Pixel 2 that has insanely good camera. I still like it. I like its design and its dual SIM and microSD card expandability, but for most of you out there, Pixel 2 should suit you better if you want a clean stock Android phone. I would definitely like to welcome Nokia back on the game. Well, it's not the same Nokia, it's more of a Taiwanese version of Nokia logo with the Finnish headquarters, but still, welcome back home. But there's a long way to go. The competition has grown up so much that you have short time to catch up with them. So that was a quick look on the Nokia's flagship Nokia 8. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. You can always meet us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. We'll see you guys later. Ciao.